Hello and welcome back to another 31 Days of Horror 2015 segment. We are on day 9, movie 9. And today I'm going to talk about the German film Der Fan, or The Fan in English, because fan is fan, right? So, yeah, thanks to Mondo Macabre, we've gotten to actually see this in North America. This was a film that came out in 1982. It's German, and it came out there to some controversy. And I think that's one of the reasons why it managed to do so well. Because, you know, controversy, everybody wants to see things, right? It eventually got a UK release. And then, yeah, it never, I don't know that it did anything else. It never came overseas. Not that I think it ever could have. I think the laws here regarding nudity and age may have made that kind of hard. But the film was directed by Eckhard Schmidt, who really, he's a documentary filmmaker. He's done so many movies and stuff, a lot for TV, a lot for other, but yeah, he's really into, you know, documentary filmmaking. And part of The Fan is actually, it's not necessarily a documentary, but it's kind of got aspects of documentary filmmaking in it, and in terms of it's a commentary on two things. One being like German new wave music and that whole scene, and then the other one being the fans that are into it, like the fans of stars and such. So it's funny that you know, after this and later on in his life, he really hunkered down and did the documentary thing. But the controversy comes from the star, the fan, if you will, Desiree Nussbusch, who I'm guessing was kind of famous in Germany at the time for some reason. I don't know. But then she, you know, she was nude in this movie, and she tried to get the movie squashed. Took it to court, as far as I know. And, you know, obviously that just made things, for the filmmakers, that just made it better. Of course, they had to pay for legal fees, but the publicity out there just, you know, I'm sure blew up. It was probably in the newspapers and tabloids and whatever, right? And you can't pay for that kind of advertisement. You just can't. And she lost because essentially, you know, she was claiming, oh, I didn't know I had to do nude scenes and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and it was like, they clearly said, we're hiring you for nude scenes. We need these nude scenes done. It's a big part of the film. And so, you know, I'm guessing, you know, obviously the court sided with them, and that she knew before she ever got involved in the movie. And that I would assume that, you know what, just because you're there, unless it's in your contract that you have to do it, honestly, you can say no. And yeah, unfortunately, that is a tactic that a lot of stars, well, not stars, but actors and actresses such will kind of use. They will agree to do certain things, but then make sure that they're not in their contracts, and then they will shoot a good portion of a film, and then when it comes time to doing those scenes, they will say, no, I'm not doing them. In which case, you know, the filmmakers have no choice. Of course, filmmakers have now turned around and started just saying, okay, we're going to shoot those first. We're going to get the controversial scenes in the can, and then we'll move on from there. It's, you know, it's the chess game that is filmmaking, I guess. But yeah, so that's one of the things, is it received this notoriety because of this, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people in North America who had never even heard of this, and until Mondo Macabre had you know, put out their release, didn't know about the film, because Desiree really isn't, nobody here would know who she is. I think it was 2 years after The Fan, she ended up hosting the Eurovision contest. And in North America, we don't even really know what that is. But if you do, well, I won't even really get in. I'll just say, picture, the music singing contest we've had here, The Voice, etc., etc. But this is all of Europe, sort of like a European Olympics of songs and singers. And Celine Dion, our Celine Dion in Canada, actually won it because she was a dual citizen type thing, right? And we've had 2 Canadians technically compete in it, though Canada had, not being part of Europe, we've never been able to compete in it. But it's a huge, and I mean, massive singing competition in Europe. So yeah, having, yourself be the host of that's a huge thing. So obviously, she had some kind of star potential. Whether it came from because she was in this film or she already had it, I don't know. She also eventually married the singer from Falco. And I don't know that lasted, but there you go. Like, it's one of those things where I don't know if it was because of this movie or because of something else she did, but she managed to be a star. And it's kind of funny that in this movie she plays the fan, and at first you're like, okay, she's young, she's infatuated, she's got a crush on this new wave German singer, and she's doing this, the usual things, type of, writing in her diary about him, cutting out pictures, whatever, putting pictures in her locker, that kind of stuff, and you're thinking, okay, normal teenage girl. But it doesn't take long for that thought to really go, okay, she's not really a fan. She's getting into fanatic and really starting to go beyond that real quick. It's big portion of the beginning of the movie, like the first half, is the fact that she wrote him a letter and she's waiting for it, him to write her back. And so she's constantly going to the post office and asking him, do I have any letters? 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 To one point, she actually beats up a postman and steals his mail and like, just to see if she got a letter. And she's skipping school and she's trying whatever she can to try and, be this fan. Nothing else matters to her. School doesn't matter. Her parents don't matter. Boyfriend doesn't matter. It's all about, this singer, who, honestly, now it seems like the song is kind of funny and stupid when you listen to it. It seems almost like a parody of new wave, but at the same time, if you know new wave music, there was a lot of songs that were exactly like this. So maybe I don't know. No, maybe this song wasn't on the charts. I have no idea. I should have looked that up. But yeah, eventually she takes it upon herself. You know what? He's not getting back to me. I'm going to go to him. And obviously things are starting to get crazy. And so she goes off to find this idol of hers, and she manages to do so. In fact, not only manages to find him, manages to get one-on-one FaceTime with him, and then things just start to roll from there, and it climaxes to essentially the only horror elements of this film is the climax and ending. The whole portion up to that is just her being this fan, this fanatic, and being kind of weird and crazy. So yeah, for fans of horror films, you may watch this and go, oh my god, this is really boring. All I'm doing is watching this girl do really, really stupid things while listening to some really bad German new wave music. And yeah, that's kind of what you're doing. But you get to the end and there's some payoff, because you get into the controversy of all her nude scenes, you get into a little bit of violence and blood and gore, and then you get to the final portion of the film and you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. And see, I kind of want to give it away, but at the same time, I can't, because that you gotta watch the movie to get that payoff at the end. But yeah, it looks like the music's by Ryan Gold, so I'm guessing it actually was some kind of new wave song of some sort that probably was on the charts. So I don't know. I'm not a new wave aficionado, so I can't really know otherwise. I just have to go with what I read in these things. So yeah, Dirt Fan it's an interesting film. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Obviously, like I said, it's put out now in North America, so you do have the opportunity to see it, but at the same time, I don't know that you really need to, unless you're like a hardcore fan of horror, and like myself, and you want to see everything. You want to be able to check out and know and see things like this. If you're into European films, especially European horror, or even new wave music, then you probably would actually like to check this out, because her performance is really good. Oddly enough, sometimes she looked like a boy. It was really, really weird. Like, if I saw her now, she was just so young, right? Like, if it would be one of those cases now where if you saw her and somebody introduced them and, you didn't catch the name as Desiree, you might think it was a guy. Sometimes it's funny. It's just some of the clothes she was wearing, so, some of the way she had her hair and stuff like that. You looked at her and you're like, okay, this girl kind of looks like a tomboy at some cases, but it's funny because throughout the movie there are moments where she's sexualized by people. So yeah, it was just funny because I'm getting that. It's just a matter of the time period, right? Because it's an older film, it's European, different looks and different styles and such like that. It was just funny that I noticed that, and I was just like, this is kind of weird. I don't know if that was intentional. Probably not. I think it's just a matter of the times and and the way people looked and such back then. But it was just so weird. But yeah, I don't know. The Fan. I'm not going to recommend seeing it, but I'm not going to say that it's a film that you shouldn't see. It's not terrible. It's not a bad film. It's just not for everybody. Yeah. If you want to see, because I mean, we've had movies, The Fan, things over here in North America, about stardom and the fans who look up to them or infatuate about them. We've had movies like that, but honestly, I think The Fan does a amazing job, considering it's more than 3/4 of the film, of portraying just how crazy some of these people can go. I mean, Bodyguard has nothing on this when it comes to that. So if you enjoyed things like The Fan or Bodyguard or any of those type of films, and you wanted to see something that really did so much, did a much better job of that aspect of it, check out The Fan. It like, honestly, right off the bat, you were like, this girl is batshit crazy, like crazy. Yeah. I don't know if it's because she was just stupid or what, naive, but yeah. I mean, I guess young people can be like that sometimes, but whoo, yeah. You got to draw the line, people. You got to draw the line. They may be, popular and stuff, but sorry, singers are not singing directly to you. They recorded it in a studio, and they were probably alone, and they don't know who you are. So, as much as you wish that they knew you and were singing about you, they aren't. They aren't. Don't get any ideas. Don't go tracking down your famous idol and the person you've got this love crush on and tracking them down. It's not going to end well. Trust me. I've already seen it in The Fan. I know how it ends. And maybe I'm a fan too. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. I'm not really into that. honestly, I couldn't care. But yeah, like I said, check it out. Don't check it out. It's up to you if you want to spend the money to get it. I don't think you'll be entirely disappointed, but at the same time, I don't think you should get your hopes up too high. So there you go. There's my review of The Fan, the German, what you would call it, portrayal of psychotic teenage obsession ever committed to film. It is one of the most chilling. That's from Celluloid Scream Festival. I've never heard of it. So, till next time, take care. Have a good one.